Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This is the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again with your host Nick Scopes and the Gregolicious. You know how we do, cause you know we keeping it gangster and silly. Unplugged like a full swung titty. Bout get jitty, cause you know we down to the nitty and the gritty. And we make shit sound so damn pretty. Yeah, cause this unhinged comedy. And right now you're in the mix. So get ready, cause we about to get it poppin'. And we ain't stopping.
Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again.
Hello and welcome to the Mangina Dialogues. I am your host, Nick Scopes.
And I'm the Gregolicious.
Our guest today is the very funny and talented Erica Rhodes. What's up, Erica? How are you?
Hey, guys. Doing okay. How are you guys?
Doing all right.
Yeah, we're great. You a hip-hop fan?
I don't know. I just kind of digging that vibe.
Yes, we have someone who likes it.
Oh, wow. That's the first not you guys suck response to that question.
I don't know. I kind of liked it. I was like, yeah, that's sort of the energy I feel right now.
Well, that's good. So how are you holding up amongst all this?
Oh, I think I'm the same as a lot of people where we're just trying to figure out what to do every day.
Yeah. Are you going out at all?
Going out?
Yeah. I mean, not to clubs and dancing, but, out in the real
You mean,
world.
am I a murderer? Am I trying to kill people?
Yes. Are you trying to kill people?
Are you trying to frame me right now? If I say I'm going out on air, then the cops are going to show up and be like, we heard you're going out.
This is going right to the CDC.
You're the first person online at the Olive Garden.
Yeah, I actually, so I went to Florida because my sister, I wanted to be closer to family. My sister lives here, but then she wanted me to quarantine. So I've been here alone 10 minutes away from her, but not with her, because the second that I got here, I got sick. So then we had to do the clock back and do another 2 weeks. So I've basically been in an Airbnb alone for a month, which in some ways it's been really pleasant. Like there's something nice about not being in a big city right now. I think that being in a city there's something weirder about that being in a city. Whereas like if you're sort of in the middle of nowhere, you don't really see, like you're not seeing people in masks. You're not seeing people crowding, at grocery stores. Like I'm just going on walks in the woods every day. It's beautiful here.
Yeah, I've actually been seeing that on your Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, all I want to do right now, to be honest, is just like be in nature. Like that's what I want to do. Like that feels really healing. Whereas I feel like if I were in LA right now, I'd be losing my mind. Yeah. I mean, I live in a studio apartment. It's like I'd be going crazy. So I've kind of like done this weird thing where I'm paying for an Airbnb, but I'm not paying my rent.
Sucker, landlord.
I'm like, this just makes more sense.
Hopefully your landlord doesn't listen to this. I'm sure he doesn't, or her.
Well, I hate them. They've been horrible landlords, so I have no reason to really try to work with them because I've had issues for months with them.
Oh, that sucks. So is it true, like I on your Instagram yesterday, on your hike in the woods, did your mom really send your call to voice or block your FaceTime? Is that what that said?
There were two things that happened. One thing that happened was I was pitching her an idea.
Oh, pitching an idea, right.
Yeah, I was like pitching her an idea, like where I was like, how about, every day you do like a word of the day? Because my mom's like a super smart brainiac. And I thought it'd be funny, like if she did like a word of the day or like, and she goes, that's not funny. And I was like, yeah, I guess it's not. It's kind of, like, she's a funny character. So I thought anything she did would be funny. And then I actually thought it would be sort of, educational. Like she knows so many words. So I thought she could like teach a word of the day and it would be kind of a clever thing. And so she blocked that idea. And then I get an email from her the next day saying, I don't want to do that idea, but I have this idea. And she like pitched me her new idea. And as she's pitching it, she wrote to me, I don't really know your place in it. Maybe you're just the tech person. And I was like, great. So not only did my mom turn down my idea, but now she's pitching me her idea and writing me out of it. And I was like, this is just so Hollywood.
That is so funny. You got murdered out of your mother's idea before it was even on paper.
Yeah, I was like, this is just how Hollywood works, you know?
She's catching it right on.
Yeah, you can't escape it. You just like, even pitching to your mom, it's like so corrupt.
So, but so you're not going out then? You're not even going food shopping or anything like that?
No, I'm not going to any public places because my sister is super paranoid. Like her husband recently, like fainted, had nothing to do with Corona, but it was before all this happened. And, they never figured out exactly why he fainted. So she's just super protective of him and, you know, doesn't want to risk anything. So when I got here, I got sick and I had weird symptoms where I felt like kind of achy and just really exhausted all the time. And I didn't know what it was, but, you know, I never knew if it was going to be Corona. And then I was like, you know, I don't really want to get tested because if I get tested, they find out your address, you're like on a list, you know, I mean, the whole thing is just kind of creeps me out a little bit. So I didn't really want to get tested. So I just sort of, you know, I also was like, if I go to the hospital, they're going to be like, your symptoms aren't that bad, go home. So I just sort of waited it out, slept a lot, ate a lot of garlic.
Well, it probably was actually, like, I mean, that's lying.
Yeah, it may have been because, I mean, I actually had very similar symptoms in LA. Like I got sick in LA and then I got better and I was like better for like a week. And then I flew like more than a week. I was better for like 2 weeks. So I was better for like 2 weeks. So I was like, I'm fine to fly. I flew to Tallahassee and then I got here and a week later I got the same exact symptoms again. So it was very odd because I was like, if it's the flu you usually get sick and then it goes away. Yeah. You don't usually get it again. So that was kind of odd.
Well,
maybe it was it. I don't know.
They say that actually happens with this coronavirus, that you can get it, get sick, feel crappy, start to feel better for a few days, and then get sick again.
Weird. Maybe I had it then.
So maybe you're the one that brought it to Florida and got all those spring breakers sick.
Yeah.
Jokes on
definitely
them.
My fault. Definitely my fault.
So does your Airbnb host, not host, but person you rented it from, do they, like, I'm kind of curious about that. All these people that are renting Airbnbs because they're either escaping areas like, you know, Manhattan or, you know, wherever that have big surges of the virus. Does like the Airbnb people like inquire? Do they care?
About the Corona
Did
stuff?
they even like ask like where are you coming from or anything like that?
They not when I rented. I think honestly they were probably desperate for the money because who else is going to be renting it, you know? True. And they're a very sweet couple. Like they seem really sweet and they've cleaned the Airbnb a couple times, but they wear like they wear gear. They wear like masks, they wear gloves, like they're super careful about everything. So they don't, and I told them, I was like, you know, to be honest, I've been a little under the weather. So just make sure if you do come in, you wear stuff because I would feel horrible getting anyone sick. And they were fine with it. You know, it's not like I was hiding anything from them. I told them I wasn't feeling well for a bit. So, and then I renewed it for another 2 weeks and they seemed okay with that too. But I was a little bit concerned if I got like a complete diagnosis, if it came back positive, I could be stranded. Like I would have to, like, you know, it's like, what if I got kicked out of the Airbnb? My sister doesn't want me to stay there. And then I can't go back to LA because I wouldn't be able to travel. So I'd be sort of like totally stuck.
Yeah. Spring break.
Yeah. Fun spring break. I'd have to go live at the Jacksonville beach.
Don't do that.
You get more diseases. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Erica, you are from Newton, Mass?
Yes.
I've noticed there's like a lot of famous people that come out of there, like actors and stuff. John Krasinski, BJ Novak.
Yes, it's like kind of a weird outlier.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And now you're a part of that fraternity or sorority.
Yeah, I mean, they don't know about me, but I know about them.
So you grew up in Newton, and then you went to BU?
Yeah, I did. I actually did 1 year at BU where I was a cello major.
You could major in cello?
You can major in cello. Yeah.
Oh my God.
If you want to really, put your money to good use, get a seat.
So can I just interrupt for 1 second?
Major.
So you go to school to be a cello major, right? So
Yep.
It sounds like you didn't go all 4 years, but let's say you did and you graduated with a degree in cello, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What are your options besides cellist?
You could be a cello teacher. You could be a cello. You could be. I mean, pretty much you're going to become a cellist. You're not going there to become anything else. You're going there to, that's like saying, like, what are your options if you're a comedy major? It's like, well, you could be a comic or you could teach comedy. Those are pretty much the two options.
Right. I agree with you, but I think that's totally true. But there's many more places you can do comedy nationally, I think, than there is you could go play the cello. Right.
Well, it's extremely competitive. I mean, yeah, but it's like comedy in that, every state has a major orchestra. You could do chamber music where you could found your own chamber group. Your options are you're either at the level of being a soloist, which is 0.0001% of all musicians are that good, or you're playing an orchestra and you have to audition to get into an orchestra. So, or you become a freelance musician. My mom's a musician, actually. She's a violinist and she's a freelancer, but she also plays in the Pops and the Boston Ballet and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
And but she also freelances. Like, she founded her own orchestra. She plays in all different orchestras around Boston. She plays in chamber groups. So it's like you can have a life that's actually quite similar to a comic's life.
No, I only ask, and I'm not poking fun. I actually went. I went to college in Boston too, and
where'd you go?
Northeastern.
Okay.
And I had a bunch of roommates for years that were all Berklee College of Music students.
Right.
And then I had a 1 year that someone went to the New England Conservatory that was mainly where
that's where my parents went.
Right. So that's where like the serious, not that Berklee isn't serious, it obviously is, but more orchestra type people are at the New England Conservatory than there are jazz musicians and rock drummers and stuff like that coming out of Berklee. So I was just curious.
Yeah, I actually dated a guy who went to Berklee when I was going to BU, and it was kind of funny. Like, he was in all the rock and roll classes, like playing his guitar, and I was in orchestra playing my cello. And then we both worked at Symphony Hall in Boston as ushers.
Way. Oh, no way.
Yeah, that's how we met. We met as ushers.
That's right, where I literally lived right there, right around the corner on
Really?
Yeah, I lived on Symphony Road for years.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I spent so much time there.
Yeah, me too. I actually walked into, this is a funny, no one really appreciates this unless you know the area. So the bank that's across the street, I one time got robbed, and I was going in, I didn't rob the bank, but I was going in to get money, right? Because I needed to get some money. And they had a back entrance. So I came around through the parking lot, right across from Symphony Hall, went into the back entrance, walked into the bank while they're investigating this bank robbery, and a cop stops me and goes, "Hey, you can't come in here." And I'm like, "What do you mean? I bank here."
Oh my God! You had no idea there was a robbery going on?
If you would have walked around the front of the bank, it was very obvious something was going on. But I walked in the back that kind of faced the alley, and it's like,
oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Anyway, so I know that area well. I worked on Lansdowne Street for years.
Oh wow! Yeah, I love that area. Yeah. Newbury Street.
Yep. Boston.
Newbury Comics used to be there.
Yep. I think it is still there, actually.
It is?
I think so.
I thought they went out of business.
No, Tower Records went out of business. Tower used to be on the corner.
Oh, yeah. That was so sad.
Yeah, Newbury's still there. So did you start your comedy career in Boston?
I wish I did, but no, I started late. I started in L.A. I like went down quite a long path before I found stand-up.
So what was that path? I mean, I know you were obviously you acted from a young age, right? Like
actor,
because I
cello
started
major to actor.
I started on A Prairie Home Companion when I was 10, and so I had all this radio experience, but you know, I didn't even think of myself as funny, really. I had no idea really that I was funny for a long time. And I mean, I would get laughs doing that, but it's like I didn't really embrace it. And then I went to acting school in New York, and then I wanted to be an actress, and I did a lot of acting, and I moved to LA and did a lot of like independent projects and everything, and web series and horror films, and just the acting wasn't really taking off. I felt really stuck.
Right.
And so that's when I finally found comedy, but it was a whole weird series of events, because I found my manager who reps Maria Bamford before I even found stand-up. Like, I wrote to him and I was like, I'm young Maria Bamford. And he's like, I don't really see it, but you are funny. Now I get compared to her a lot. But the first time I found Maria, I was just like, whoa, what a quirky, interesting person who you wouldn't think of as a comic. Like, I always thought of stand-ups as like these sort of brassy, ballsy female, you know, this like tough girl type thing. And so I never even considered being a stand-up. Like, it wasn't really something I thought about. So, but when I brought it up to him, or when I brought up what I wanted to do, he was like, he asked me what I wanted to do, and I said, I want to be on SNL. And he's like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. And he's like, because he's like, you don't do impressions, you don't do voices, like, you're not really a sketch comic. He's like, but I could see you doing stand-up. And then it wasn't till another year of auditioning and not getting anywhere with that I finally pushed myself to do it. But I was really scared of it.
Well, you did something right.
Well, yeah, you know, I really felt like there was a moment when I literally thought, and I'm sure a lot of comics have been in this position, or a lot of people have been in this position in their life, where I thought, what is the thing that scares me the most? And that was stand-up. And I was like, well, I guess I better do that thing.
Right.
You know, just even if it's once, it's like you have to go to whatever scares you. Like, it's almost like that's what gets you to the next level in your life, of like, instead of avoiding failure, you're like, let me lean into whatever is really scary, and see where I go from there.
That's why I started this podcast with Nick. You
were so scared.
So scared. And after 50, almost 60 some odd episodes, I'm still very fucking frightened. But
perfect.
It's
That's
working.
Where you want to live.
I do. It's like you can't get too relaxed.
That's like, I keep going into the woods late at night. Like, I keep doing my run late at night, and then it forces me to run because I'm literally scared. Like, I get stuck in the woods and it's dark, and I'm like, I better run because I'm really scared right now.
In Florida, of all places too, where there's crocodiles and fucking bugs no one's seen before.
Yeah. Exactly. I was like, this is a great motivator. This is like a great workout.
You know, that actually happened to me in a weird kind of way. I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, and I usually stay down in Studio City, and I was coming in from LAX, and my GPS took me away. It never, ever took me. And even though I've driven that drive 500 times, I always use Waze because it's LA. Like, you never know. So
right.
It took me through a canyon that I forgot the name of it, but I wound up getting both a speeding ticket and a stop sign ticket on a camera because I got into the canyon at dusk, and there's all these signs that say, and it's a private road or something weird, and it said, the road closes at dusk. And I'm in this thing at dusk, and I have no idea where I am. It's starting to get a little dark, and I'm freaking out. So I'm driving as fast as I can through this canyon, and then I'm figuring I'm either going to drive over the cliff, or I'm going to get to the end, or I'm going to get stuck in this canyon overnight and get eaten by a coyote.
Oh, my God. That's scary.
I was so scared. And finally I saw like a park ranger, and I pulled over, and I'm like, am I going the right way to get out of here? And he was like, yeah. And he told me how to get out. And then like 2 weeks later, I wound up in the mail. I got a speeding ticket and a running a stop sign ticket from that.
Oh no. Well, you had to though. You had to do it.
Had to.
Safety first.
It was safety first.
Yes.
Erica, do you still play the cello or what?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm like really out of shape with it. I actually brought it to Florida, but like it's sort of in this really fragile position right now where the bridge looks like it could just come off at any moment. It's like almost all the way off of the bottom of it. So I'm like, it's kind of freaking me out a little to play it.
You need to get that guy that takes those awesome, like on your Instagram, you have all these awesome like professional black and white photos. You got to get.
Oh, Nick. Yeah.
He is an awesome photographer.
He's so good, isn't he? Like, I just like love all of his photos.
Yeah, they were so cool. But you have to get him to take a picture of you in the cello. That has to be.
I know.
Something.
I never thought about that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh my God, that's like you need to have the cello picture.
It's so funny to me how impressed people are with cello. Like I can play like really badly, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, that was beautiful," and I'm like, "No, it really wasn't." But
well, thanks. That should be a comedy bit. You should do a bit. You should totally do that.
I actually have a bit I want to do where I want to do a video where I'm telling people, where I'm like pretending to be a famous actress, telling, like there's so many videos now where like famous actors are being like, you need to stay inside. And so I want to be like, you need to stay inside and play an instrument in a mediocre fashion, but act like you're playing it really well. And this is how you do it. And then I'm going to like do it on my cello, like, acting like really into it, even though it's like really not that good.
you should do that and get all your friends that have an instrument at home, regardless of what it is, to do some version of that Gal Gadot video that went around where they were all singing Imagine, and then it got shit on. Like this person tries to do a good deed and then everybody shits all over it.
I felt kind of bad about that. Like later I was like, they had good intentions. Like it's not like they set out to be like assholes. They wanted to be like nice.
Yeah. Then you obviously saw the one with all the comedians, right? Like I think I don't know who started it, but
no, I didn't see that one.
Oh my God, you have to see it. It's a complete shit on of that video and it's like so 50 funny comedians just doing a piece of it. It's so funny. If I find it, I'll text it to you. I mean, it's on Instagram all over the place. I know it's on Josh Wolf's thing. I saw it like 30 times.
That's funny.
Oh my God, it's so funny. So can I ask you about Prairie Home Companion for a second?
Sure.
Because I did not know that was a very long-running radio show. I thought that was just a spoof, not a spoof movie, but a movie.
Oh.
So are they related to I mean, obviously they got to be some way related to each other, right? Or am I losing my mind?
No, the radio show is the famous thing, and then they made a movie based on it.
Right. Okay. That makes.
So it's all the same thing.
Right.
But the movie was just a one-time thing, and the radio show ran for 42 years.
Okay. So I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Well, we knew that, Craig.
Well, you didn't even know it was anything until I asked you 20 minutes ago, hey, do you know what a Prairie Home Companion is? And you're like, no idea what that is.
I figured it out, though. Quick.
So anyway, the movie is based off of the radio show.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I saw the movie. I thought it was funny. That's it.
Oh, yeah. That was Robert Altman.
Oh, Robert Altman? I thought it was someone else. Anyway, you know more than me. Okay, that's the only question I had on that.
Okay.
Interview's over.
Cool. You're like my only question is, what is it?
No. So
the question I have is, where'd you get the name for your album? That was #1 on iTunes, by the way. Sad Lemon.
Yes, the name came in a very organic way because I was gonna call it Eggshells, and I'm really glad I didn't because now I like Sad Lemon so much better. And what happened is I did I think 5 shows at Helium in Portland, and one of the shows was just sort of chaos. Like there was a drunk woman in the front row. She spilled her glass and it fell onto the stage and then broke. And then there was like a lemon from the drink on the stage. And I was like, now there's just a sad lemon on the stage. Like I just said it sort of in the moment. And later on in this show, I said, okay, well, this is definitely not going to be on my album this whole show because it's been totally nuts. I said, but does anyone want to like give album title ideas? Like you guys can just throw them out for a few seconds, you know? And somebody shouted out Sad Lemon. And I was like, wow, that's like perfect. I love it.
It is a good name.
And so I took it. And honestly, I still am surprised I haven't heard from who the person was who named it. And I'm still surprised by that. It's almost like it was just some anonymous person who like doesn't even want credit. But like, I thought I would hear from a person being like, oh, that you named it for, you know, like I'm the one who shouted it out, but I still have no idea who shouted it out.
How, like, so then the album's #1 on iTunes, right? And without going too specific, like how long did it take to go to #1? Like, what's the metrics to get that?
That's like one of those things. I feel like it's similar to like New York Times bestseller. Like you read so many books and it's like you see so many books. They're like New York Times bestseller, and then you find out that it's like, yeah, you only had to sell like 100 copies.
Yeah.
To get like New York Times bestseller. It's like, so it's all a scam.
It's all a scam.
It's all a scam.
It's all smoke and mirrors. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. It was only #1 for a day, which then you can have bragging rights forever.
It counts.
Yeah, my goal was to get it to #1 at some point for a day, so that you can say forever it made #1, and it's not a lie.
Right.
But I'm too honest.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I don't read enough books to pay that close attention to the New York Times bestseller list, but I see it all the time, and I'm like, how did a book about turkey basting become a New York Times bestseller? Like,
right. Well, that's what I figured out because I've read a lot of bad books that are New York Times bestsellers, and I'm always like, huh. And then I sort of did some research, and I found out like the number of books you have to sell to become a New York Times bestseller is really nothing.
I actually have a friend that had a book. I don't think it was the New York Times top 10 or anything. I think it was Amazon or something. And it was a book about a really obscure sport that he was saying, oh, my book is in the top 10 on Amazon or whatever. Or maybe when the Barnes and Noble thing was the Nook. I don't remember. And I wound up finding out that it was like that. He sold like 18 copies in like a week, and it put him in the top 10. I was like,
yes.
I'm going to write a book, just a dumb book, a pamphlet, and be able to say I had a top 10 pamphlet on Amazon. Nick, we should get on that.
It really is. Yeah, it's like everything is just sort of like kind of bragging rights, you know?
Yeah.
So,
hey, it counts.
but I mean, it was nice because a lot of like, like a lot of people that had a huge following sort of retweeted about my album, like Jim Gaffigan did, which was really nice of him, and like some other people. So that I think that probably helps get it up there.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure.
That's awesome.
One day is better than no days.
Yeah.
When's the last time you performed before all this happened?
Oh, before this happened? Good question. When was my last? I think my last set was at the Comedy Store, and it was right when Tom Hanks was diagnosed. And I remember saying, I can't believe Tom Hanks has it, and everyone sort of gasped, and I thought they had known, and then I was like, oh, sorry to be the one to let you know, and but I remember, it was in the belly room at the Comedy Store, and there was like that weird feeling of like, things aren't going quite right anymore, and this isn't, who knows how many more shows we have, and then sure enough, like 2 days later, they shut down everything.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was actually in Dallas that week, the week before.
Oh, really?
And I reluctantly went, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. It's funny. You have a bit on that.
Yeah.
So I apologize. So I went, and I saw that Greg Fitzsimmons was playing the club in Dallas, Hyenas.
I love Greg.
And so I was like, you know what? This could be the last shot, the last chance I have at seeing, something. So I went,
right,
and it was awesome. He was obviously hysterical as always.
So great,
and
yeah.
Then, I came home, and I think it was that weekend that everything got shut down. I think it was.
Wow.
And then,
So that was the last show you saw.
Yeah, me and Nick run a bunch of shows out here, and I think that was that Friday night, Nick, that you guys had that show, and then it was done. And we've booked shows out through June that we all had to cancel.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Are you guys going to do any Zoom shows or anything like that?
We thought about it. It's just, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. There's so many on a nightly basis now that it seems hard to find a good space. Because at least out here in Manhattan, most of the clubs are doing shows every night or every few nights, and there's just so much stuff. Are you doing them?
Yeah. I did one through Flappers actually, and they've been running it really well. Like they've been doing Zoom, which I think is a lot better than Instagram Live. Like some places are doing Instagram, and you just you can't hear anything. I mean, you can't hear any feedback. So hearing the feedback live, to me, you can at least try out material and get a sense of whether it's going to work or not, Yeah. And so I did 40 minutes on a Flapper show.
Wow.
I did a normal headlining show and I got paid and everything. And I was like, I guess I'll keep trying to do these. I'm going to do another one May 8th. And I feel like it's not ideal, but it's better than nothing.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. And, I watched them and they're fine. And they certainly have, for most people, at least get you your fix. But, we had basically 3 or 4 nights a week of shows that it would just be so hard to try to replicate that. Plus we have, our club
you
is
don't have
small.
to do that. You could just do one a week,
Yeah, that's true. Nick, why don't you jump on that? Get those shows
I'm going to start right now. We're on Zoom.
I think it's worth it. I think more and more places are going to do it, but also you can do a real show. You can charge $5 or something. You can actually run it like a real show.
Right. And they just did it straight on Zoom. So what did they have? One Zoom link, and then was it limited? Because I've seen a few clubs are doing it where it's limited amount of people. That's probably based on how many links you can send out on a Zoom or something, I imagine.
Well, they had 80 people watching.
Right.
But I couldn't hear. They didn't unmic. Not everybody was unmiked.
So what is there, a moderator? One person gets to moderate it so they can dictate who gets, who can talk and who can't?
There was someone running the sound.
Right, yeah, I guess.
So, yeah, they definitely had someone, in charge of the sound, and then it felt like she was, she kind of was in charge of if there was someone being too loud, I think she would mic them. But overall, I don't know. They did a good job, somehow they're ahead of the curve, figuring it out. They did a really good job doing it.
Yeah. And then
if you want to check out one of their shows, you get a good feeling of just how to run it.
Right. And then isn't the Comedy Store doing one tonight? Or did they do that when was? They did something recently.
I don't know. I'm offended. They haven't asked me to do anything.
Those fuckers.
Still can't get booked on certain Zoom shows. That's what's so ridiculous.
Yeah. So
really? That's so weird.
How
I haven't really asked, but
well, you should ask.
Start asking, lady.
Get Bruce on it already.
I know.
He needs something to do.
Well, I'm okay doing these flapper shows just because I get paid,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for tons of busy work.
Right.
I'm looking for ways to get money.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
A lot different than how Nick is getting money these days.
Yeah, just sell pictures of my feet.
Well, that's one. Got to be resourceful in these times.
You got 2 feet. That's a couple bucks a piece. So, you were on Bring the Funny last summer, right?
Yeah.
And how was that whole experience, and what did you see lift-wise after the show?
Well, I definitely felt like it got me more exposure for sure. When I was touring, I had more people show up from it. And they seemed like pretty good fans. They were all like, you should have won. And, they're the ones that came were super into it. I wish they had done more for me, a little bit more as far as traction goes, but I feel like I'm getting used to that with anything you do. Nothing is the main thing. There's no real such thing as a big break. It's everything gets you some more fans, gets you more experience. I don't know if I've had that one big thing yet where it's like, now you're on the map, you know?
Right.
I mean, this podcast is going to do that for you.
It's probably
well,
that's
what I'm counting on, guys.
Yeah.
That's what I'm counting on.
That's what the word on the street is. It's like
that's why I cleared up my schedule for you, you know?
Appreciate
I moved some stuff around.
We appreciate it. It's every move is we appreciate it. Calculated. Yes.
Thank you.
No, I was just curious because those shows, especially in the summer, they fill up a lot of space and hopefully they pan out for the people on them. And you were so funny. I mean, I went back and watched those clips and it was just, I don't know. Like, I can't see how someone looked at that and is like, oh, that if you're into comedy and doesn't recognize that you're fucking funny.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's hard to do. I mean, it's hard to prove yourself in 2 minutes, you know? Like, that's not easy.
I've been trying for years.
Yeah. I mean, that's funny. I've been trying for years to prove myself in 2 minutes.
How's it going, Greg? How's it going with that?
4 out of 5 dentists. I have nothing but bad things to say.
Perfect.
Anyway, this was a lot of fun. You're one of my favorites.
Aww.
I appreciate you taking the time and clearing your schedule.
Yeah.
A couple boneheads like me and Nick.
Exactly. Stay away from those crocodiles.
No, it's fun.
Yeah, definitely stay away from those.
Yes, I'll try to stay out of the woods past, when the sun goes down.
So besides Sad Lemon, which you can get on iTunes, it's a #1 album. Is there anything else we should let the 3 other guys in their basement know about?
Well, tell them I'm going to do the, another live show through Flappers on May 8th. They can already get tickets if they go to the Flappers website. And, I do 40 minutes. So, and I have all this new stuff about quarantine and everything. So, they can buy tickets to that. And that would be a really supportive thing to do.
We'll definitely do that. This will be out before May 8th. So.
Oh, good. Perfect.
We'll make sure that's in all the notes and everyone knows and in our promos. And really
thank you.
Most importantly, glad that you're healthy and stay safe. And hopefully you can get back to LA whenever you want to get back to LA.
Thank you. I love how everybody keeps saying stay safe. Like, that's now instead of saying like bye, everyone's like stay safe.
I used to say safety third, and I kind of still maintain.
Now you can't say that.
I know. I kind of maintain safety third, but now people fucking look at you like you're crazy.
Right.
Like,
no, they're like, no, safety first. Yeah. That's all we care about is safety. We're scared.
It's like
you fucking asshole.
Like pretty soon it's going to be nothing but helmets and shoulder pads, like to go out to the supermarket.
I can't take it.
I can't take it either.
I can't live like that psychologically. My brain just won't live like that, so I just can't.
I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to single-handedly wipe out all the sushi bars in like Studio City. Like, there's no way you can socially distance.
I know. I don't know how any businesses are surviving this. I just don't know.
I know it. Anyway, thank you.
Anyway, on that note.
Sad note. Erica, thank you so much and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Nice chatting
safety
with you.
Third.
Yeah, safety first for second.
Bye.
All right. Bye.